My name is Charles Rubenstein, and I'm a professor of engineering and information science at Pratt Institute in New York in the United States. There I teach electronics and design using microcontrollers. My doctorate is in bioengineering, and I have a master's in information science, which allows me to really understand better the various challenges that the students are going to be undertaking and proving out their space applications today. They're talking about using sensors and creating microcontrolled systems which will have an output, an impact on humanity. In addition, they're using and archiving large data sets of information from the various satellites that NASA and other space agencies have. One of the problems that seems to be inherent in small to medium companies is they feel that the large companies, the Boeings, the Audis, etc., are the only ones that can put together the appropriate manufacturing facilities to have parts for the various spacecraft and the satellites. And that's not really true, because there are hundreds of little companies that come together to make a small piece or a small part. When I was here a few months ago, I had the opportunity to visit a company that manufactures very precise rings for the aircraft, the spacecraft, that allow the spacecraft to be put together and also easily separated from its fuel tanks, etc. And that particular piece that we saw being manufactured is actually going to be going into space very shortly. So the small companies have their own specialities, and the space programs, both here in Italy and throughout the world, have requirements for lots of small parts. It's not only the big, massive pieces that we think of. It's not only those that can be manufactured and produced by large companies, it's also things that are almost insignificant to the large companies, because they're not cost effective for them. There's too much in very, very precise labor that has to go into creating a very precise fitting that will make it possible to be launched and at the same time to be functional and be able to release the unused or unneeded parts of the spacecraft. The space economy is something that sounds like it's in the sky, but it's actually very close to the Earth. And I think that all that one has to think about is the various payloads on many of these spacecraft. The satellites themselves are small, and they're very compact, and they have small computers, they have small programs, small sensors. Big companies aren't interested necessarily in the very, very subtle differences between this sensor and that sensor, between making something huge and something functional. And I think the small companies, the SMEs, can really bite into that apple. They can really become part of the space economy by putting themselves out, by bidding for some of these very important but very small pieces of the program.